Lucid dreaming might be one of the number one life hacks and definitely the number one manifestation hack that you are not trying. Either you don't know how to do it, you've never heard of it, or you don't even know where to start. And this breath work that I'm going to share with you in this video, it will help you obtain that state of lucidity a lot easier. At the very least, it's going to make your dreams a lot more vivid, and definitely increase the likelihood that you remember your dreams in the morning. My story, well, just a quick little bit about my story. I used to suffer from debilitating panic attacks, and I didn't know what they were. It took me 3 years to heal myself from that. I mean, do I still suffer with anxiety and stress and burnout? Of course, but I'm much more able to deal with it now. I have the tools that are necessary to live with this stuff and actually continue existing out in the world and out in reality while experiencing panic attacks and stuff like that. And I did it all without pharmaceuticals, and I did it in a sustainable way, so that I could get back to being a useful part of my family and a father for my daughters and a husband for my wife. But lucid dreaming, I read a book when I was in middle school, so decades ago, that was written in the 70s, that was talking about astral projection and lucid dreaming and out-of-body experiences and all that kind of stuff. And that is a wild thing for a middle schooler to find, especially a middle schooler born in the middle of nowhere in Wisconsin. But anyway, it started a lifelong curiosity, and luckily in there it had a very rudimentary technique to start with lucid dreaming. And then luckily, I tried that, I had success intermittently off and on. And then luckily when I was old enough and we actually had a computer in our house, I stumbled across Reddit, and the lucid dreaming subreddit is just a gold mine. But as part of my healing journey, I studied all kinds of breath work over the last 3 years, because it made a lot of sense to me that your breath is one of the closest or quickest ways into your nervous system, because you need oxygen to survive. You can't go very long without oxygen. So your body and your brain, your nervous system, puts a high priority on how you breathe, and you can actually affect your nervous system by changing how you breathe. And one of the more obscure breath works that I found, when I found it, the person teaching it referred to it as the breath of wisdom. And I practiced it, and I love doing it during the day, but then one night I did it 20 minutes before going to bed. And then that morning woke up to just an onslaught of remembering my dreams, and the dreams that I had were so vivid. Some of them were a lot more intricate than dreams I normally have. So I figured that's the only thing I changed from one night to the last night, and so I decided to try the next night, and same thing happened. And then a third night, nothing really remarkable happened the third night, but the fourth night, I woke up into lucidity, which means you realize you're dreaming and are able to consciously control the dream while you're still dreaming. And then not only that, but then in the morning I was able to remember all of it like I had just lived it. And that brings me to why lucid dreaming is such an amazing life hack. And it's a life hack that people kind of shrug off because it seems kind of woo-woo, but it is unbeatable. It is amazing as a life hack, as a manifestation hack, and as just a fun experience. And if you get into the philosophical things of side of lucid dreaming, I've read a book a long time ago with a tribe in, I want to say, Southeast Asia, that believes that waking life, or what we consider waking life, is actually the dream, and when they're dreaming, that's actually their real version of reality. And I think that's very cool. But one of my favorite mentors in manifestation and that kind of thing is Neville Goddard. I think all of his books are amazing, but the number one tenet in all of his teachings is live from the wish fulfilled, which essentially boils down to take actions in your life, both mentally and physically in the outside world, as if you had already achieved your goal or desire. And I had a long, hard. I eventually came to a place where I could do that, even though it's, especially when you're sick, you're not feeling well with chronic illness and anxiety, and maybe money's not where you want it to be. It's hard to live like none of that stuff is actually occurring. So at some point during this healing journey, it kind of clicked. If I can't live like that or if I can't conjure up that feeling in my waking life, well, what if I try to do it in my dream life, especially since there's that tribe out there that thinks that the dream life is actually real life. And we know for a fact that our brains can't figure out, or delineate between real life and something that's vividly imagined. And I don't think there's any more vivid of an imaginative act than dreaming, and especially lucid dreaming. So it's my favorite way to basically, whatever goal you want, come up with how, like, the scenario, what your life would look like if you obtain that thing, work to become lucid in your dream state, and then live that reality while you're dreaming. And then anyone out there who's had a incredibly vivid dream, a nightmare, or even has been lucid or slightly lucid, which there's different stages of lucidity, will know that when you come out of that dream, it's very hard to decide whether or not that was a dream or not. It feels just like real life. So it's my number one way to kind of conjure up that feeling of living from the wish fulfilled and carry it into your waking life, which has led to crazy synchronicities for me. It's led to, I attribute a lot of my healing to it, because in the dream you can live from a place where that stress, anxiety, burnout, chronic illness, what have you, is no longer part of your reality. So then I keep saying very easy, but it's easier to then carry that mentality into waking life and kind of exist like Neville Goddard would say, from the wish fulfilled. Another way that it's a huge life hack is you can basically rehearse things in lucid dreams. Like if you have a job interview coming up, if you have a first date that you want to go well, a sporting event, anything, you can do it in your lucid dream. And of course, there are also other crazy, wild, fun things you can do in your lucid dream, but that's not the point of this video. But the breath of wisdom that I stumbled upon and then accidentally found out that it's a crazy dream amplifier is simple, but definitely takes practice. So what you're gonna, it is a metronome-based, rhythm-based breathing exercise. So you're going to want to get a metronome on your phone, or if you have a loud clock in your room that you can hear ticking down the seconds, that would help too. But we're going to be counting by seconds, and then it's all going to be done in a kneeling or sitting position. You're going to breathe in and out through your nose, and it goes like this. The ratio is 1, 4, 2, 1, and that's inhale, hold, exhale, hold with no oxygen or no air in your lungs. So how I was taught it is inhale for 4 seconds, or 4 beats of the metronome, hold it for 16 seconds, exhale for 8 seconds, and then hold it with no air in your lungs, or at the end of that exhale for 4 seconds, and you just keep repeating that. I like to set what's called like insight timer on my phone. It's an app I like 20 minutes. I've found that to be I've had the most success with that time range, doing that right before bed. And then you just keep breathing through that cycle in a seated or kneeling position until your timer goes off, and then go brush your teeth, go to bed. And if you're anything like me, the next morning you're going to look back at your dreams and it's going to be just wild. I have tried this lying in bed, and I do not recommend it. Unless you're having trouble falling asleep, because it's really good at making me pass out. And so I'd probably get like a minute and a half into it and pass out. And I don't think, at least I haven't noticed that is long enough time to experience the full effects of this breathing pattern. The person who taught it to me also said that breathing like this increases the red blood cells that are circulating in your body, and that might have something to do with the dream like the vividness of the dreams. Like maybe you have a better oxygen efficiency if you have more red blood cells circling through at night. But it led to deeper sleep, better dreams, more lucid dreaming. I think it was probably one of the biggest levers I pulled with lucid dreaming. There are a few other things, like there's a tea I make. Definitely want to start dream journals. I can make other videos on those things if anyone's interested in. The tea is there's a lot of ingredients, but it's definitely worth it for increasing deep sleep, increasing dream vividness, and like symbolism in the dreams. But like I said, there's a lot of ingredients. It's easy. You just put it into a pot and it steeps, so that's the easy part. But if you want to know about that, let me know in the comments and I'll make another video on that. Otherwise, try the breath wisdom out for a few nights and let me know what you think.